Anything specific you guys want me to say?
Gloat that we beat the Habs.
Welcome to Leafs Fans and Hostile Lands podcast, the podcast where we are a couple Leafs fans in Ottawa talking about how much the Leafs like to beat the Habs in their first game. Very excited.
Go Leafs, go!
Yay! Really great to see the barns are full this year in Ottawa and in Montreal and in Toronto and all around Canada. And we got to go to the first Sens Leafs game just on the outside and meet lots and lots of people, hand out some stickers, and get more of the community knowing what Leafs Fans and Hostile Lands is all about. This is our Leafs Fans and Hostile Lands podcast.
This is not super hostile lands, but
Fair enough.
I was gonna say it's like Buffalo.
Yeah, no doubt. So what's it like being a Leafs fan all the way out here?
Love it. Every bit of it.
Yeah.
Love it. I love the tournament just to piss them all off.
Piss them all off. Love it.
It's easy. You look around, you see how many Leafs jerseys there are.
Yeah.
I got buddies that are Sens fans, and they rip on us, we rip on them.
Of course.
It's a good little trade-off.
What's it like being a Leafs fan in Ottawa?
In Ottawa?
Yeah.
Been here before, done that, no problem.
It's amazing. Leaf fan everywhere.
Leafs fan everywhere.
Leafs
Always
fan
win. Everywhere.
We hope.
Awesome.
Oh, we're not from Ottawa, we're from Toronto.
All good. Why did you guys come to Ottawa then?
I don't know if I
Because
was...
it's cheaper. Exactly. It's cheaper to see that win. You guys live in Ottawa?
Toronto.
No, Toronto.
Toronto? Oh, you came all this way. Why did you guys come all this way?
For Leafs game.
It's money. It's the money.
No, we wanted to come. Why not? Just to see what's going on, and
Yeah.
we want to check out the Leafs wherever we can.
Absolutely.
So quick drive, go for a little vacation kind of thing, and yeah, that's about it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What's it like being Leafs fans in Ottawa?
You know what? It's actually been not too bad. I feel like every time you go to a game at the Canadian Tire Center, it's mostly Leafs fans anyway. So
fans, yeah.
it's not too abnormal. So not too bad.
What do you think?
I'm honestly just here for him.
Nice.
She's actually a Habs fan.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
we haven't had one of those yet. Oh
Yeah.
my
So I
god.
forced her to wear this. So.
Putting on a show for the night.
Yeah, I
but-
believe it. So what's it like cheering for different teams in Ottawa?
I'll go first. For me, it's easy. The sense of always been like a little brother kind of syndrome, right? So I honestly, I've always told them I wanted them to get Stutzla. I've always wanted them to do well, right? So no hard feelings for the Sens, right?
Yeah.
But just to troll, I wanted the Sundin today, right?
Nice.
For the boys.
It's competitive, and we always argue when the other team wins. So like if the Leafs win, I'll make her angry a bit, and then when they win, she'll make me angry a bit, and it'll last a few days.
Yeah. She's making faces over there. Nice.
It's all right. It's only been a year so far, so I think I can make it.
Yeah. And what's it like being married to a Leafs fan?
I respect him. I like the Leafs too.
Oh, nice. You're converting
Yeah,
her. Nice. Okay, predictions for tonight. What do we think, guys?
Leafs 4-2.
4-2. Nice. What do you think?
At least 3-0.
3-0. Very good. Another Sens fan shows up.
That's the wrong jersey. What you doing?
4-2. Leafers.
4-2.
5-1.
Oh, I like it. First person to go to 5 goals. Love that. Okay.
4-1 for Leafs.
Saying 4-1 Leafs.
Always 4-1.
I'm
That's
saying
the second
4-1.
person.
No,
Nice.
Yeah. Saying 4-1.
Predictions for tonight. What do you think?
Feeling good. I'm feeling good. Brady Tkachuk just signed, so we'll see how that goes.
See how that goes.
Even missing Matthews, I think we should be okay.
pull it off.
Marner's putting up there, Bunting's up on the second line.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We're doing okay.
I have hope. I'm gonna say 4-2 Leafs.
Nice. Very cool.
Ooh, I would have liked if Brady would have been in. If Ottawa can stay out of the box, they win. If not, then Toronto fucking walks away with it.
Takes away, yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, you kind of disappointed Matthews in playing, but Marner has a good game.
Yeah.
And has a good game.
Yeah. What's the score? What's the score going to be?
4-2 Leafs.
4-2.
6-1 Leafs.
6-1.
Go crazy
Whoa! Go Leafs, go. Have a great night, guys.
5-2 Leafs.
Nice. Getting it up there to 5. I like
sir.
that.
3-1 Leafs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Keeping it tight.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think after last night we had to play 2 in a row.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'll say 4-2.
4-2
For
Leafs?
the Sens.
Oh, 4-2 for the Sens.
Yeah, 4-2 for the Sens. 4-2
Gotcha.
blue. 4-2 blue.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
4-2. No, 4-2 for the Sens.
Empty netter.
4 goals by Tim Stutz. A little Austin Matthews reversal. yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, Sens making the playoffs this year?
Yes.
Yes, I love that answer.
It would have been on the fence if they hadn't have got Brady signed up. It would have been nice if he was going to be here tonight. But yeah, fuck yeah, we're going to the playoffs.
Nice. Okay. Really great to get the predictions. There were a lot of predictions of 4-1, which is terrifying. And a couple predictions up there in the 6-2 area. That was great. Unfortunately, it did not go our way, or at least the Leafs fans' way. Thursday night, 3-2
Really?
loss
Tell
to
me
the
about it.
Sens.
Yeah, let's relive that one, Kyle.
Let's relive this one. But around that, wasn't so bad. It wasn't so bad. First, we had a 2-1 win against the Habs, even though it did not seem like it was going to be that off the bat. And the second Sens game on HockeyNet in Canada, 3-1 win against the Sens. I'd say relatively dominant overall. And the most recent game, last night for us, what a stress ball for like the third period and absolutely overtime.
Yep.
That was one of the most intense overtimes I've watched in a long time. Back and forth. I'm yelling at the TV the whole time. Shesterkin,
What a
just
guy,
nuts.
eh?
What a
Stood on
goalie.
his
I
head.
feel so good for the Rangers having Shesterkin. He's the next Lundqvist, I think, and just absolutely stood on his head. Campbell, not a slouch either. Just didn't get as many shots because the Leafs seemed to be in control that entire game. It's just you can't win. You can't buy a goal. Can't buy a goal. Not fun. Not fun. But we did have 4 games, which is exciting. 4 regular season games, one of which was against a team we haven't played in almost a year. Some of the standout players, guys. Who do you think stepping up in the first 4 games, or just who are your favorites? Craig's back, by the way. Welcome back, Craig.
Hey.
Go for it.
I
first.
think my favorite player in the first couple games has been Michael Bunting. It's great seeing, so far he's living up to kind of what we're expecting him to be. He's going hard to the net. He's scoring some, the one last night where basically he was hanging over the crossbar when he scored it.
Yeah.
He had that nice one, getting around the defenseman on the 2-on-1 against, I guess that was Ottawa. No, he's been looking really good. Austin Matthews looked great last night.
Yep.
Jack Campbell.
Of course.
Peter
Of
Mrazek
course.
was not standing out, or I guess he was standing out for not the greatest
Sitting
reasons.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, sitting out.
Sitting out, yeah. Absolutely. Dan, who were the standouts for you? Any differences?
So I'm going to completely agree with Bunting. Actually, just before I say that, I'm going to go back to, of those 4 games, the only one I really wanted to win was the first one. And we won that one, so I'm happy.
Yep.
And
too bad it wasn't a couple months ago.
Exactly. Oh, don't rehash the past. But, 5 points, that's not bad. I'll take that. Anyway, I'm going to completely agree with Craig on Bunting. I also really loved watching Nylander skate right now. He looks like he's on point. He looks like he's ready for a good season to pile up the stats. The other player that I kind of think has something to prove out there right now is Tavares, and he's playing his ass off. It's really impressive to watch him play. He is poke-checking like crazy. He is taking the puck to the net. He is tripping over everybody to just get a chance at shot on goal right now, and it's fun to watch him. So I think he's my first 4 games, those are the favorites for me.
I completely agree with Nylander. He is a bat out of hell right now. He wants it, and he wants to score, and he's loving the attention, I think. Even in those first 3 games that we didn't have Matthews, Nylander was on fire, picking it up right where he left off in the playoffs. Spezza, what a leader. Throw him up on the first power play for those first 3 games without Matthews, and he was the quarterback. It was Riley goes to Spezza, Spezza gives it to somebody, and it looks like we've got a scoring chance. It's just so good at his age, and for the dollar we've got him, ridiculous. And I got to give props to Engvall. I didn't think he was even going to make the team. Had a great preseason. They threw him in on the third line, and that third line of Engvall, Kampf, and Kasha, the best line in the first game. By far. They did really, really well in the other ones. Shut down, but also offensive grit and really pushing the play. Now that Matthews was back for another game, Engvall got pushed down to the fourth line. Didn't think he looked bad there either with Simmons and Spezza. Like really, really bringing it because he is, I'd say, the bubble guy on forward. That's the guy they could, God forbid, waive, trade, something like that, to bring someone up. Amadio was just not played the previous night against the Rangers. A little underwhelming, I'd say, Amadio, but I don't think he was meant to stand out in the first place. He was just meant to kind of be a big guy there. Good segue. Dan, underwhelming players. What do you think?
Oh, people might hate me for this, but I'm actually going to go with Marner right now. He's moving the puck well, and he's skating but he's just not in the position he needs to be. It almost seems like the tandem of him and Matthews is thrown off right now, and so he just couldn't get his feet under him for most of the 3 games. And I just didn't find myself watching him as much as I was watching everybody else. Spezza was, obviously one of the fun ones to watch too. So, Marner was a little bit underwhelming for me. I'm devastated that Mrazek is out right now because I really wanted to see him play. I have faith in Campbell completely. He's totally mine. I see him going deep in the playoffs if we can go deep in the playoffs. But, Mrazek, I would have liked to see more. So, unfortunately, hopefully we'll get to see him soon.
Craig, underwhelming.
See, Dan, I think I disagree with you about Marner. I think he's been looking pretty good. He's been driving the net. He's been taking shots. I would blame his centerman, Austin Matthews. He looked invisible for the first 3 games of the season. And then finally shows up in the 4th one and actually looks like he's trying to do something. But I think the problem right now, it might be that new guy on the opposite side. It might be Nick Ritchie. He has been looking fairly invisible to me in most of the games. He came in and he was supposed to be the guy that's going to drive hard to the net. He's supposed to be the Zach Hyman that's going to get the puck from in the corners. It just seems like he's kind of lagging behind everybody else. Now, he did play the first couple games with John Tavares on that center line. Now, John Tavares isn't necessarily the fastest guy either, even though he is very defensively responsible. And having the two of them with Mitch Marner just didn't work. Now, I'm hoping to see a little bit more of what Nick Ritchie can do with Matthews on that line, because both of them are pretty big guys. But I don't think... I'm just wondering if he is going to be the guy to be on that line. I like the way that Bunting has been working with the Kerfoot Nylander line over the first few games. He looked good with the Nylander and Tavares last night. I think I want to see him up on that top line. Get a little bit more speed, a little bit more grit on that Marner and Matthews line. But Nick Ritchie, he's still got some time to prove it, but right now he just doesn't seem like he's going to be the guy to complement those 2 players on that top line.
Agreed. Nick Ritchie, he's not Hyman yet. He has some time. Yeah. We're only 4 games in.
We were spoiled.
Yep, we were absolutely spoiled. Ritchie, maybe it's just harder to see what he's bringing to the table. He is getting some hits in there, and that's great, but maybe just not getting the puck out to the guys that he needs to, at least not in those first 4 games. So I completely agree, Ritchie. The defense, at least the third pairing, a little bit underwhelming in our own zone. Dermott and
Sandin. I miss Bogo.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, really missing Bogo already.
Muzzenhall, Riley Brody, I've had no problems with. Riley has been on a tear, really, really jumping up. Maybe sometimes too much because he leaves Brody out and we have a lot of odd man rushes going the other way. But Sandin and Dermott have not impressed me in their own zone. Giving the puck away. Dermott doing his spin pass to the center again. Stop! Go somewhere else. I'm not a hockey player, but do something else. It doesn't seem to be working. Come on. Liljegren in the 1 game he got in, didn't notice him. That seems like a good thing.
Actually, I will say Liljegren in the game he got in, I liked him, and I don't love him stat-wise, but there was an empty net that he stopped, and then I can't remember the second one, but I was like, oh, that's 2 points. I actually liked him.
He had a nice pass for that 2-on-1 that turned into, I believe, was the Bunting goal.
That's it. That's what it is, Craig. Yep.
Cool.
Thank you.
We talked about Jack Campbell. Really, really doing well. Standing on his head. He came in relief for Mrazek in the second game with the Sens because Mrazek seemed to just kind of tweak a groin. Only out for 2 weeks. That's not the end of the world. I think that's fine. Hopefully it doesn't nag him longer than that so we have a legitimate backup. Not that Hutchison isn't, but maybe Alex Bishop from U of T is not quite. So they've been great. However, first game, the Leafs only got 2 goals. Jake Allen did really, really well. Second game, Leafs only got 2 goals. Forsberg stood on his head. Really great for him. I feel like props. Third game, only 3 goals. Forsberg was not quite as good. I believe his save percentage was under 900. And then the last game, 1 goal. Shesterkin stood on his head. Already giving him props. Were the Leafs just goalied? Or are they actually struggling to score? What do you think, Dan?
I'm going to go with they've just been goalied. I don't think there's any kind of struggling to score. The one game I will say they looked really bad was, I would say, the Sens game, the first game, and then the first period of the second Sens game, after which they kind of got their feet under them. But I think it's been mostly a goalie issue. We're just up against some really hot goalies right now that are, putting up all brick wall. The power play is working. Offense is working. We're getting a ton of shots on net. I'm not worried season wide.
Craig, what do you think? Getting goalied or actually struggling to score?
Well, it's a little bit of both. Well, the other night, Forsberg had what might end up being a save of the year off of John Tavares on that one where he had the glove, to take away that backhand.
Yep.
Shesterkin stood on his head again last night, but the Leafs just haven't had the bounces going their way either. If you look at the Ottawa game, the first one, 2, maybe 3 of those goals went off of a foot or a little bounce or a leg or something, and the pucks are going in. The pucks just aren't bouncing in the same way for the Leafs yet. Now, it's a long season. It's going to take some time. But they're having, goalies playing above their, like Forsberg playing above their caliber against them, making 48 saves in a game, and just not getting the bounces. Usually they say, if you get the puck to the net and you take a couple bounces, it's going to go in.
Yeah, like the first Bunting goal, or the Bunting goal against the Rangers. Absolutely, that's what they did.
If I can just add, the one thing that's been driving me crazy a little bit last year, and I saw it again in these 4 games, I think it was last night even, was the Leafs taking stupid goals, and the one I'm like tweaks me is too many men on the ice. Like, it's 5. Count to 5.
Stupid penalties.
Yeah, sorry, stupid penalties. Thank you. It's driving me crazy. They took it so many times last year in crucial moments when they can't take that penalty, and here they are doing it again. It makes me a little frustrated.
Yeah, that one was frustrating.
I'm curious as to why they take too many men on the ice penalties. Now, I know back when it was Babcock era, apparently Babcock had a way that his players would switch. It was always the centerman the first one over the boards, no matter who came over. So let's say a left winger came off, the centerman always went on because he was more responsible than having a winger go on for a centerman or something like that. Right. And then the farthest guy goes on, and then the closer guy goes on. That's kind of confusing. I can understand why the wrong guy goes on and 2 guys go on at the same time. Now, I don't know if Kieft has a similar system for the way he does shifts, but there seems to be a problem because the Leafs do take more too many men on the ice penalties than any other team that I watch.
How many teams do you watch?
Well, 32 over the course of a season.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But throughout the season, the Leafs take more of them than, the team that they're playing.
Agreed. Okay, little devil's advocate here. I think the Leafs got goalied, but also I think in the games that they lost, the other goalie was just better and made those hardcore saves, and Campbell didn't. I think the overtime goal, Campbell made an amazing save like 2 seconds before that. The one that actually went in didn't seem like much. Even the Zibanejad goal, I don't think it tipped off anything. It just kind of went over his glove.
Yeah.
Is Campbell the guy, or was it just a thing last year, or is it? I don't know. What do you think?
Campbell's had some moments, some goals that have gone in that probably shouldn't have, but he's also made a lot of really good saves. He's been pretty solid for most of the game, and then there just seems to be a moment. Campbell doesn't seem very good at shots from a distance. Something from the top of the circle, something that's, coming in off the rush. He doesn't seem to be able to track those all that well. Close saves from the slot, in a scramble, he seems pretty solid at. Now, that might just be something that he needs to work with the goalie coach for, maybe square up a little bit better. I know back in the day, Reimer was terrible about getting his glove up, and they got so many goals over his glove. That might just be something that he needs to work on, but right now, it doesn't seem like he's squared up, and that was what we were seeing last year in the playoffs. Look at some of those goals that killed them, like in Game 7, that Gallagher goal that he was saying that was the worst goal of my career. It was from a distance. It just seems like he's got so many things that are good in his game, he just needs to work on the rest of it.
But hey, if that's one thing that he's not good at, goals from a distance, I'll take that. I still have confidence in him.
That seems like the kind of thing that you can work on, that you can improve.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We put the similar question out to our social media, and we had a comment. That's super exciting.
Woohoo!
Apologies for absolutely butchering your name. Porteus Corey thinks that the reason the Leafs aren't doing so well are not maybe getting the luck or maybe not the bounces. Injuries off the top of the season. Maybe we're talking about Mrazek. We're talking about Mikheyev. Losing goalies as well. So I guess Mrazek there. What do you guys think? Injuries and losing Mrazek? Do you agree with Corey on this one?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, having Matthews out was not great. Mikheyev being out sucks. And then in terms of goalies, Mrazek didn't look great against Ottawa. We took a lot of goals right at the start we shouldn't have, and it was hard to come back, and we didn't. So I think he's right.
Craig, you think he's right?
Well, having Matthews out for the first 3 games really didn't help. Matthews had, 10 shots on goal last night? I know none of them went in, but it just means that he's going to be driving a lot of play. He's going to be taking pressure off those other 3 lines underneath him. And not having him in the lineup, that injury to him, definitely was hurting them. Now, we're going to see this weekend with the back-to-back against San Jose and Pittsburgh. Will Hutchinson be able to stand up? Hopefully they're going to play him against San Jose on Friday and not play him against Pittsburgh on Saturday. Mike Babcock's gone, so we can actually, be a little strategic about which goalie we're going to play. But that's when we're really going to find out that injury to Mrazek, is it going to be detrimental over this short term?
I agree with Corey as well. Injuries, not good. Not a great way to start. You could really tell, and I mentioned this before, that the depth at center is really not there if we lose one of our top guys. And that happened in the playoffs as well with Tavares having his terrible injury. So I agree. Everyone else in social media, don't forget, comment. We're going to maybe feature you on here. We'll have a discussion. If you comment enough, maybe we'll contact you and get you interviewing on this podcast. We've had a couple outside interviews as well.
We are a fan podcast. Might as well have fans on.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Last 2 thoughts about the Leafs. The power play. Extremely scrutinized during the end of last season and into the playoffs. Such a low power play conversion percentage. It seems like they're doing away with balancing the power play. Matthews was in the top power play. Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares, Riley. Top 5 guys on that first power play. When Matthews was out, Spezza was in. I thought he was really, really effective. Do you think this is a good idea to load it up? And do you think the power play is showing life in the beginning? They haven't converted too much, but do you think it has that life, Craig?
Well, they had a lot of shots in the last few games on the power play. They've been looking really good. The problem with loading it up is that they've been keeping those guys out, or they've been staying out for a minute and a half, minute 45, and they almost got caught last night.
Yep.
They were out there at the end of the period, I think they were out there for a minute 45. Puck went into the other end of the zone, and they were just gassed, and they were really lucky that they got away without a goal. That's the problem. If you don't feel comfortable putting your second power play on, you're not going to be using them as much. You're going to be leaning on those guys a little bit more, and it's going to turn into longer shifts. That's going to possibly create issues like that. Now, by having a second balanced power play, they can actually rest those guys and get them out there, again at the end of the power play. Maybe switch them out 45 seconds, then you get them out for the last 30. And then they can maybe continue some pressure and continue that power play to extend a little bit longer while they're in the zone. But if they're gassed, if they're out there the entire time, they're not going to be continuing to create pressure after the power play.
Dan, load them up, even them out. What do you think?
I like the even them out method. I would like to see definitely 2 lines power play played. I completely agree with Craig. They're gassing the guys on the first line, and when it comes time to change, they're just not there. And we're seeing it kind of, well, as Craig said, against New York, it was kind of detrimental. We could have easily lost by a lot more goals there. But I really like the balance. Bunting is fantastic right now. Why not play him a little bit more? And Spezza's on a bit of a hot streak. I would have played him more against Ottawa. But, I think overall, I'm pleased. We have 3 goals on I'm not sure how many power plays. And that's better than all of last spring. So
From March until June.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
What I'd like to see on that power play too, we were talking about having Jake Muzzin on or maybe you guys were in the last podcast, but putting Muzzin on the power play. to clap those bombs. That's when you want Bunting in front of the net to be banging in those dirty goals. You need to have that guy who's going to be that net front goal guy. If we can get a defenseman who can get the puck through, you need someone that's going to be there to be able to score on those goals. Back in the day, we had JVR. JVR was a great net front goal scorer.
Good point.
Or the side of the net. And I know Mikheyev was really trying that in the preseason. He was trying to be that guy in front of the net on the power play, trying to do that JVR move where he can go backhand to front forehand and try to scoot it in. Unfortunately, we don't have him, and so we need someone like Nick Ritchie. Maybe get some power play time. Show us what you can do in front of the net. Michael Bunting. Maybe get Wayne Simmons a little bit more power play time on that PP2. He had 5 power play goals at the beginning of last year before the injury. Maybe he can bang in a few more going forward. But by not using these guys on the second power play and loading up in the top one and not getting a lot of time for power play 2, we're not going to be able to see what these guys can do.
Okay, quick question to finish this segment on the Leafs, and I want to put this to our fans as well. Have we seen the Stanley Cup habits within this first week? We heard a lot about Stanley Cup habits in the All or Nothing documentary. Keefe was really, really nailing the Leafs on it, even during their wins. Was like, I'm not impressed with this. These are not Stanley Cup habits, and obviously they didn't have them going into the first round last year. What do you think? Dan, yes to Stanley Cup habits or no? Quick question.
No, not yet. I don't think there's enough consistency. I think Matthews coming back will add some consistency to the lines. Mikheyev's out for a long time, so we'll be able to kind of get strength there. So not yet, but I'm hoping that, we're going to get those soon with the full roster back in.
I don't think so either. I think you're right, Dan. We just haven't seen the consistency. We've seen them come out flat 2 of the 4 games. We've seen a lot of odd man rushes going the other direction, like you're saying, Kyle, with Riley leaving Brody. You can't do that in the playoffs. So yeah, you're right. We're not seeing those playoff habits yet, and I'm hoping Keefe is going to just stay on top of them, and until they can get that through their head that they are a good team, play like a good team.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Let's hear what some of the folks that we interviewed at the Ottawa Sens game say about the Leafs potentially making the playoffs, getting through a couple rounds this year.
This is the tough question. Leafs going to make it past the first round this year?
Come on. Of course they are.
Of course they are.
You heard it. It's a new year, right?
Of course they are. Awesome.
We'll go with that.
Yes, 100%.
I got 100%.
100%.
I got 2 not a chances. 3? Oh, 100%.
100%.
Nice. Oh, the pause. It hurts.
They make the conference finals.
Conference finals going to round 3.
Yeah.
I'm worried to comment. I don't want to put anything on.
No, don't want to put any pressure down. Don't want to put any pressure down.
They've lost so many times, you've got to think they got to win. I got a theory on that, too. See?
I'm ready.
The thing is, the Leafs beat Ottawa in the playoffs several times, right?
Yeah.
The problem is your fan base was an awful bunch of cocks to us. And I think you guys were so fucking awful to us, the hockey gods have brought down Thor's hammer on you.
Yeah.
And you're paying for it now, because I'll tell you, I went through the worst kind of shit you could go through.
Yeah.
Back in the day. It's the only explanation I can come up with. You don't fuck with the hockey gods. You got to be humble in victory and humble in defeat.
Leafs get past the first round this year. What do you think?
Oh, man. I mean, I don't want to say yes because I don't want to eat my words in a few months, but I'm hoping. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, man. It's looking good. I think this year is a good team. And
with the divisions going back to normal,
Oh, the pauses.
To be optimistic, I'm going to say yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
This is the year. This is the year.
No.
Oh, dude. Oh.
I wish I could say yes.
Yeah, that's fair. Have a good game, man. See ya. Go Leafs, go.
The thing is, you want both teams to be good for the rivalry, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, we know that the Leafs are only going to be around 2 weeks longer than the Sens anyway. So
Oh, no.
it doesn't. It's just. It's all good. It's all good. You play the long game. We all end up in the same spot. Everyone has a beer in May, and we're all good.
Yeah. The Leafs make it past the first round.
Of course.
Of course. That's a great idea.
I mean, why not? They're going to do it one time. Every team breaks that thing they can't get past. Cubs win the World Series. Red Sox win the World Series. Habs beat the Leafs in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I hope it's going to happen, but this is. We have the talent. It'll eventually play there.
Yeah.
And once we do, all that weight's going to be gone. And I think
they can do it year after year. Nice.
Hopefully.
Other news in the NHL. We'll kind of burn through these just to kind of see if there's any discussions going on. Still on the Leafs. emergency goalie stuff, cap issues. What the heck happened before that Saturday night Sens game? They lost Mrazek in the first Sens game, but they didn't want to use cap space or didn't have the cap space to bring up Hutchinson, so they had to sign a U of T goalie, Alex Bishop, to a one-day amateur contract. So he was the backup. So now Hutchinson gets to be the emergency goalie until Mrazek is ready so that it doesn't count against the cap. Who wrote this stuff? What on
the Leafs
earth?
assistant GM.
Oh, yeah. We forgot. Forgot about
exactly.
that. Stupid or smart?
See, it wouldn't have been an issue if Justin Hall wasn't also sick at the same time and they had to keep Liljegren. If they could have just, if Hall happened to be fine, he was in the game, they would have just sent down Liljegren. They would have had the money to bring up Hutch, and it wouldn't have been a problem. But because they didn't, there's a compound of a couple different things. Unfortunately, this is what they need to do. And like Keith said, I don't think about the backup goalie. Nobody on the bench is really thinking about the backup goalie. He's not part of our game, not part of our game plan. So instead of being a man short, either playing 6D and having one less forward, I'd rather just have anybody, a beach ball sitting on the end of the bench there. They need to have something. So I think it's a smart move, and this is the kind of thing that cap teams have to do to be able to stay cap compliant, to be that aggressive with the cap. Like thinking about last year with Vegas having 17 guys on the team at one point. Like that's what you have to do, and sometimes injuries will come up. There's going to be COVID cases this year. I know McKinnon was out for a while because he tested positive, and that really hurt the Colorado Avalanche. We're gonna see this more this season with this flat cap and without having a taxi squad.
Yep, absolutely. Next bit of news. Josh Hosang has already scored twice for the Marlies. Super exciting for him. Dan, do you think he comes up here soon, maybe?
I'd love to see him come up. He's been playing well for the Marlies. I watched the highlights of those goals, and they're not bad. He's an impressive player. I would have liked to see him play a little bit more in preseason, but I don't think with the current roster, I don't think we see him come up right now. I think we're pretty set, unless we see more injuries. And then who knows what cap shenanigans they're going to do there.
Right, absolutely. Okay, going back to our arch rivals, the Habitudes, the Canadians.
The Haberdashers?
The Haberdasheries. They've gone 0-3 in this season so far. They've lost to
including
Toronto.
losing to Buffalo.
They lost to Buffalo, huge.
Yeah.
I think it was Dallas they've already lost to, and I'm looking at the score sheet right now. They're losing 4-0 to the Sharks.
Oh
wait, hold on. I want to make myself feel even better right now. Darn, it's Aiden Hill in net. I was hoping it was James Reimer. That would have made me feel good too. They've only had one goal per game. They have no goals right now in the current game. Do the Habs need to sound the alarm here? They just signed Suzuki and Caulfield's on a tear. What is happening, Craig?
They're juggernauts. That's what they are.
Nice.
Well, I think we're just kind of seeing continuation of what we've seen in the regular season for the last two seasons. They were 24th 2 years ago and made it into the playoffs in the absurd playoff rules that they made. They made it in last year and they were 18th in the league. Montreal hasn't been a great regular season team over the last few years. Yeah, they were having some real issues. They're having a lot of goals scored against them. No, they don't have Carey Price, but they didn't have him for significant parts of last year. They don't have Shea Weber. So their power play is essentially non-existent at this point. And they're cracking down on cross-checks, so Ben Sherratt is useless. I'm really not surprised that they're not doing well, but they are doing much worse than I was expecting them to be doing starting the season.
Yeah, me too. Very weird. Moving on, Evander Kane suspended 21 games for violating COVID protocols during the season.
Crazy.
And it seems like it was kind of a doctored or a false vaccine passport sort of thing. However, there was no evidence of him gambling on games, even though he is admitted to maybe problems with gambling in the past. And there was no evidence of the domestic abuse claims that his wife made. Now, that's based on an investigation. That doesn't necessarily mean it's true. We should definitely listen to his wife. This guy's a troublemaker, it seems.
Yeah, definitely.
He's finally maybe having his due with the 21 games. What, Dan? What do you think about this whole situation with Evander Kane?
I'm disappointed. I liked Evander Kane up until all this started to happen 6-7 months ago or whenever it was. I mean, domestic abuse, obviously, that's, in my mind, that's inexcusable. Gambling on games, yeah, it sucks until you get caught, or it's fun until you get caught, sorry. But the COVID passport thing, that bugs me. I mean, it's just low. It's not like, yeah, you might not be spreading it to your teammates, and sure, it's probably not a big deal in terms of numbers or anything, but like, don't do that. What the hell, man? So I'm really disappointed in him. I think he deserves a suspension, and I don't think 21 games is unreasonable.
Mm-hmm. Craig, any thoughts on Kane?
If you don't get the vaccine, you can still play. Don't lie to your teammates and to your team. If you tried to pull this in a restaurant, you'd be charged. So I don't know if he's going to be charged by the state for falsifying records like that. But I know here in Ontario, it's something like a $12,000 fine. I know that's peanuts to him, but it's a public health thing to be lying about that kind of stuff. If you don't get it, I understand. Don't get it, sure, but don't lie about it.
Yeah.
Weird segue. Kucherov got hurt again. That's just what the. I feel bad for him. I didn't see it, the hit. Don't know what's really going on with him. Haven't looked into it. But the only thing going through my head, and I'm sure a lot of fans, is Tampa doing it again? They're just going to, you just go get better for a couple months, maybe until the trade deadline, and we'll
put Jack Eichel on LTIR beside you when you trade for him. You'll all be back for the playoffs. Stamkos will be on our fourth line.
He's on a tear. Stamkos has something to prove.
No.
Shenanigans, Dan? Or no?
You know what? I don't think so. So I've read a little bit about this, and he didn't play last year. So the NHL went into an investigation. Well, yeah, no, but the NHL did an investigation into his condition, time of recovery, all that kind of stuff, and found have him be in line with other players' normal recovery times. I don't think it's really necessarily shenanigans. I saw the hit. It was kind of, he came in for a hard stop, and then it looked like he caught somebody's leg a little bit awkwardly, maybe enough to pull a groin. Sure. If I did that playing hockey, absolutely. I'd break everything. So I don't think it's shenanigans. I think, it's a deserved time off, if you will.
Last thing.
Also, looking at this division compared to last year, do you think this is the year that you want to be pulling Kucherov out? Because this is going to be a tough division. It's a chance that if they're not playing to their optimal level, that they might miss the playoffs in this division. Last year, sure, there was a couple other teams in the division that could pass them, but there was also a fair amount of teams in that division that were just not going to make it. So they felt a little bit more comfortable not playing Kucherov. But this year, you've got Boston, you've got Toronto, you've got Florida. Could even be Ottawa if they play fairly well. They've been looking half decent if they can get goaltending. Well, that might be your 4, and Tampa might just not make it. So I think they wouldn't, in a season like this, they wouldn't risk the shenanigans in the same way.
Cool.
Agreed.
Last thing. Brady Tkachuk has finally signed his contract. This is, I know, old news to some of us, and he had his really cool standing ovation for the Sens opener, and I believe he had his first game he's going to on Thursday this week. 7 years times $8.2 million, give or take. This year's a little different because he's missed a couple days. Good for him or too much money? What do you guys think?
Well, I think it's good for him and too much money.
Okay.
Which is, pretty much how it works out. He's making almost Marner money. Like 8.8, what's 2 million under Marner? No, he's 2 million under Marner for 7 years. That's not that bad. Like
2.5, yeah.
Yeah, he had 38 points
player.
Last year.
Yeah.
But 38 points, and he's on the first line this year. So I don't know.
That's 38 points. Marner put up, 70 last year?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But that's not entirely his role, though. He's an instigator. He brings that raw hockey talent and raw hockey annoyingness to his team, and that's an intangible that can be paid for sure. Like Marchand and stuff. Marchand should be making at least this. He's making like 6, but it's
you can't consider Boston. It's like
yeah.
You can't use them as comparables
because they just have the best contracts.
Everybody on their team has taken a discount.
Yeah, I think it's way too much money.
Craig, you think Tkachuk is getting overpaid or no?
I think he's overpaid a little bit based on the term of it. I understand for 7 years you're going to be overpaid because it's going to be going into UFA years. That's just the way it works. Right now, unless he makes great leaps forward this season in his production, I think it's an overpay. Now, if he can take that next step forward, like everyone kind of, in Ottawa thinks that he can do, if he can become a 60-point guy or, 60 or even 70 points, if he can really show that he's the leader of the team, maybe this can be worth it. But the cap's not going to be going up for at least 3 more years. Now, I know Ottawa doesn't necessarily want, it's not really an issue right now, but in 3 years, Melnyk says they want to be a cap team, and this might become an issue if he can't make some huge gains between now and the point where they see themselves being a contender.
Speaking of being a cap team, the young guns on this team are coming out swinging. I checked out their kind of scores for all the other games other than the ones against the Leafs, and there's a couple standouts. Chris Tierney, not super young, but 27, doing really, really well. He's got 3 goals already. Connor Brown, what a guy. We loved him. 3 assists already. Forsberg was a gem against the Leafs. And young Gustafsson, who was the one they protected in the Seattle expansion draft, a gem against Dallas. They are going to owe these guys some money. Chris Tierney, UFA. Nick Paul, UFA. Josh Norris, RFA. Tim Stützle, 2 years away from UFA. Shane Pinto, 2 years away from UFA. Alex Formanton, RFA this upcoming year. Logan Shaw, UFA this upcoming year. Artem Zub, 2 years UFA. Josh Brown, 1 year UFA. Victor Mete, RFA arbitration this year. That's a lot of guys they have to pay, and they just paid Brady Tkachuk 8 point something.
Yeah, and Shabbat's making 8.
It's either super smart. Yeah, it's either super smart on Dorian that this is the ceiling, 8-ish is the ceiling because you're not going to outplay Tkachuk, or the players are going to be like, nope. I deserve that money as well, and they're going to be cap strapped, and that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Last thing about the Sens in our Capital Corner thing that I forgot to mention. There we go. Excellent. Don't even have to put the music in now. Are these the pesky Sens again, or are they legitimate playoff contenders? Dan, quick question. Go.
I said I was worried about playing the Sens first game. Well, not first game of the season, second game of the season, and it proved right. It drives me crazy going up against them, but that's part of the reason I love watching the games. I think they're a point behind the Leafs right now. I know we're 4 games in, but if they keep this step, then yeah, absolutely playoff contenders.
Craig, pesky or legitimate?
Can they not be both? They kind of seem pesky, but if they can keep this up, they could be legitimate.
Yep,
I'm on that one now. I agree with him.
I did put them as my playoff, surprise, and I think that's because of their peskiness, that teams are not going to give them the time of day, and they're going to come out swinging like they did in that first game against Toronto. Speaking of set game, we got to have some trivia fun with a bunch of people we interviewed. Everybody won, even if I had to give them hints. Most of the questions were about the Leafs. Let's hear how they did.
Okay, a little bit of trivia. Which Leaf has scored the most points in franchise history? It's not on the Leafs right now. He was their captain at some point. Starts with an S. This number.
Oh shit, I'm on the spot.
Swedish.
Matt Sundin.
Matt Sundin, well done, guys. Who was the league leading scorer last year? He scored the most goals last year.
Most goals
in the whole league.
That was Austin Matthews.
Austin Matthews, well done. We got a puck here. Check us out.
You got it.
You might know this one. Which Leaf has the most penalty minutes in franchise history?
Ty Domi.
Ty Domi. Well done. Well done. Enjoy yourself. Nice hockey puck. Which Leaf is the leading scorer in franchise history? Most points.
Sundin.
Sundin.
I was at that game.
No way. Very nice. Very nice. What NHL record did Jack Campbell set last year?
11 straight wins in his debut, and I think there was another one. Best record of a starting goalie since the 90s.
This guy.
Yeah, he knows his stuff. He knows his Jack Campbell. Awesome.
Yeah, I liked when you really need to walk the guy to the total points leader. He was captain. He was Swedish. Wears 13.
I'm wearing
Starts
his number,
with a
but
sun
not
to-
his name.
Come on.
His name was Matt's.
Yeah, there you go. You got him. On the spot. That's okay.
Let me just write this down for you.
If you're new to the podcast, we have a fun segment you can definitely play along with us called Let's Make a Bet. Last week we had our first bet, and it was how many goals are the Leafs going to score over the next 4 games? I said 12. Craig said 15, and Dan wins, being closest to, even though we all went over, with 9 goals because they only scored 8. Darn.
They should have scored 15.
They should have scored a lot more.
Wild.
If it wasn't for Shesterkin and Forsberg, it would have been 15.
At least. At
You
least.
wish.
If we didn't also know from last year, Craig was the resounding winner of the Let's Make a Bet, and we just kind of keep it rolling to see how much money we owe by the end of the year. Dan was definitely the loser last year, so it's good to see Dan win one right off the bat. And I believe Craig said he was going to give you all of his winnings from last year for this one bet, Dan. So congratulations.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Craig.
I'm trying to
Very
give Dan
generous.
that head start so he at least can feel like he's in it for the rest of the season.
Exactly. Speaking
False
of Craig,
sense of security.
Craig, you
Yes,
got a bet for
exactly.
us for this week?
Does Michael Hutchinson win? Does he win his game?
Okay. So he plays a game. Not sure which one he's going to play. Does he
He's going to
win?
play against the Sharks.
Should we have
Yeah, I
a
think so.
secondary thing just in case 2 of us say yes?
Well, let's do save percentage over or below 900.
Oh,
okay, I like
nice.
that.
Well, that's tough though. If it's below 900, you're probably going to lose.
Yeah, well, you
you
can double
never
down
know.
on here.
If the Leafs come out offensively, it can happen.
Also, Toronto
Okay,
has won some 7-8 games.
Oh God. Oh God. Make it stop.
8-7 against the Sharks.
I say Hutch wins his game. I say over 900.
Craig?
See, I think he's going to win, and it's going to be under 900.
Okay. All right, Dan. Is it
I'm
going
gonna
to be
say-
equal to 900?
I'm going to say win and over 900.
Gotcha. Not much of a tiebreaker if it's over under, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work.
We'll use goals against. I'll say he'll get 2 or less goals.
I'll go 2 or more. Sorry, more than 2.
I'll say 2.
All right.
Okay, this is fun. Process of elimination of what's going to happen. As mentioned several times on the podcast today, we got a chance to meet some fans, some Leaf fans, even some Sens fans, talk to them. Craig, what was your favorite part of that little experience we had?
How much people tried to avoid me on the corner.
Oh, it's so funny. They seem like
They see a person
that guy
standing there
is going to
looking
hand
at
me
them.
something and I don't
I'm
want.
going the other direction. Little do they know, I'm funneling them
Yeah.
over to you guys.
It was nuts. People are fun. Dan, favorite part?
For me, it was just getting out and talking to Leafs fans again. It's been a while since we've done that, and just as you part the conversation, you both go Leafs, go, and it's just a fun time.
True.
Yeah, really enjoyed that. My favorite part, I got to be the awesome interviewer. It was great. I really enjoyed interviewing the Sens fans. They gave it to us, but they also respected us, and it was fun also interviewing like a Sens fan and a Leaf fan. A little bit of banter there. That was so great, and I feel like we're going to get a couple more listeners for stuff like that, especially if we have them on the podcast. So big thank you to the people that took the stickers, maybe put them on their stuff, or spread the word, for talking to us, for interviewing to get onto this podcast. Big thank you to you guys. And to everyone, spread the word about Leafs fans in hostile lands on your favorite social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now on YouTube as well. We've got our website, leafsfansinhostilelands.com, and everyone knows the algorithms. The more likes, The more comments, the more people are going to see it, so on and so on. We don't have any ads for this. This is just fun. We just want to talk. Let's talk, everybody. Let's
Talk hockey.
Talk hockey. Leafs in Ottawa. So comment on the posts. The more you comment, maybe we'll be like, hey, you want to come on the podcast, interview with us? We'll get you on the Google Meet, and we'll have some fun. And our usual sign-off.
Go Leafs, go.
Bunch of cocks.